Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and seeing people dancing in the streets. But this isn't a festival. It's not a celebration. These people are in agony. Their feet are bleeding, their bodies trembling with exhaustion, and yet, they keep dancing. At first, it's just one woman. But then, dozens more join. Then hundreds. And within weeks, an entire city is caught in a plague unlike anything the world has ever seen, a plague of dance. This strange and terrifying event took place in the summer of 1518 in the bustling city of Strasbourg, part of the Holy Roman Empire, what is now modern-day France. Life in Strasbourg was hard. The people were recovering from disease, famine, and brutal poverty. The church warned of divine punishment. Superstition ruled the streets. Fear of witches, demons, and curses was common. And then, one woman stepped into the streets and began to dance. Her name was Frau Trophia. She danced for hours. Then for an entire day. Then 2. Then 3. Her feet were raw, bloodied, yet she couldn't stop. And soon, others joined. In just a few days, over 30 people were gripped by this same uncontrollable urge to dance. By the end of the month, 400. The city officials were horrified. People were collapsing from exhaustion. Some were reportedly foaming at the mouth. Others died from heart failure or strokes. And the strangest part? No one could explain why it was happening. The city's leaders turned to their best minds, doctors, priests, scholars. The verdict? This was not a disease. It was not witchcraft. The doctors believed the people were suffering from overheated blood. And their solution? More dancing. They believed that if the dancers danced out the sickness, they would recover. So they built a giant wooden stage. They even hired musicians. The result? The dancing only got worse. The city was in a full-blown crisis. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it ended. Over 500 years later, the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the strangest mysteries in history. What could have caused an entire city to break into deadly, uncontrollable dance? Historians have some theories. Some researchers believe the culprit was ergot poisoning, a toxic mold that grows on rye, a common food source in medieval Europe. This mold contains a compound similar to LSD, which can cause hallucinations, twitching, and muscle spasms. Sounds like a solid theory, right? Well, not exactly. Ergot poisoning typically causes convulsions, not rhythmic dancing. And it also makes people too weak to move, let alone dance for days on end. Another theory suggests that the dancing plague was a case of mass hysteria, also known as psychogenic illness. When people are under extreme stress, their minds can manifest real, physical symptoms. And guess what? Strasbourg in 1518 was a city on edge. Famine, disease, religious fear. It's possible that the dancing was a subconscious reaction to mass anxiety, an uncontrollable, contagious panic response. In the 16th century, people believed in divine punishment. Some thought the dancers were cursed by Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dance. It was believed that if you angered him, he could force you into endless, tormenting motion. In fact, the plague only ended after the remaining dancers were taken to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, where they prayed, received blessings, and finally, the dancing stopped. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Was it a case of mass hysteria? A reaction to a toxic food source? Or something far more mysterious? Even today, we see echoes of mass hysteria and social contagion in different forms. And it makes you wonder, could something like this happen again? What do you think caused the dancing plague? Was it mass hysteria, poisoned food, or something supernatural?